Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Amber Duke.
And I'm Robby Soave. Well, progressives are not happy with Chuck Schumer's leadership, especially after Democrats possibly folded on a winning hand, so they thought, and agreed with the GOP to end the shutdown. Pollster Harry Enton points out that Schumer's favorability is down massively and predicts AOC would steamroll him if she ran.
And take a look here, the net favorable among New York Democrats. Chuck Schumer is above water with the Democrats in his home state, but just by 16 points. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running way ahead. If she decides to challenge Chuck Schumer and come 2028, she's got a real leg up on the competition. I dare say at this point she would be the favorite to beat him, which would be something that would just blow my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those numbers are pretty stark.
Yeah, you laughed out loud. You did an actual audible gasp.
Yes.
The question really is, does she even want to bother doing that? Because swapping for House to Senate when I think she is going to run for president. You think so?
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why she wouldn't. The Democratic nomination is going to be wide open.
Yep.
It is. I think it's achievable for her. I don't think she enters as the favorite, but it's going to be a 5 or 6 way race between a bunch of people with big name recognition, and she's one of them, especially if she's unchallenged amongst the more progressive and left-leaning people. Like, Bernie had to compete with Elizabeth Warren last time around. I think if it's just her, she's gonna do something. So, why bother messing around in the Senate, even though those suggest she would have an easy time of it if she went after him.
Well, I completely agree. I mean, when you look at some of the polls that show Democrats saying who they would want to be their nominee in 28, it's Kamala, Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom. And AOC is right up there with the pack, right? So, why would you not do that? Why would you waste another 4 years as senator when a lot of people already are thinking about you for the presidency now? And, I mean, if there's any sort of lesson to be learned, Ron DeSantis, when he was challenging Trump in 24, obviously different circumstances in that Trump is very popular among the Republican Party, but one of the criticisms that his campaign got was he was kind of pussyfooting around for a while and was doing this quasi-campaign book tour but wasn't officially announcing, and people started to take him less seriously. And now the idea of him running in 28 or even beyond that seems a little silly because he kind of missed the moment, right? And so there's always a danger when we're talking about 4-year election cycles of if you don't run when your momentum is on the rise, you do really risk
strike
4
when
years
the
later,
iron
right?
is hot.
And
there's
then
no waiting.
The political landscape could have totally changed by then. People could have changed their minds on you. Yeah, you have to go in when it seems like people are kind of in on you.
The Democratic establishment's perspective is probably that she should wait her turn, and by that I mean she should wait until she's 97 years old.
That's right, yes.
When she's needs to be, wheeled around, when we're in the future and she has bionic limbs or something.
Give us AutoPen Part 2. Yes.
But no, she should go for it now. She has it's such a name recognition game. I always say this. Biden and Bernie were the runners-up, or were the two main. Biden was the candidate and Bernie the runner-up in 2020 because they had the most name recognition. Biden was the former vice president and Bernie was the runner-up from the time before. It's not a complicated situation. It's in some ways harder, I think, for total unknowns to come out of nowhere now and make a name for themselves. Maybe Pete Buttigieg did it to some extent last cycle, but AOC has been something conservatives have almost manifested more into the ecosystem by focusing on her so much because she's an interesting media figure in the media to discuss.
And she's gotten a lot sharper politically since she first ran. I mean, I remember she was saying things like, well, the unemployment rate is low because people are working 2 jobs, and she had all these boneheaded moments, but she really cleaned up a lot of those issues and now is a very compelling media figure for the Democrats. And I think it would be really fascinating if she were to get the nomination to watch a debate between her and J.D. Vance, because you would kind of get that left-right populist crossover, and we'd be talking about probably housing policy and immigration and affordability and student loans and all of these things that are kind of bubbling under the surface for a younger generation, but haven't really been explicitly focused on by a lot of politicians because they're much older. They're from the boomer or the Gen X
I know. We
generation.
complain about that all the time. I think affordability in a broader context, and there's a lot that encompasses. That can be about some social and cultural policies. That can be about housing, student loans, everything. Seems to be what Democrats are running on now, and I'm not sure the Trump administration is doing a great job in communicating what their ideas are on those issues. And Trump himself, in fact, it sometimes seems a little bit dismissive of those concerns being made. Or says, "What are you talking about? The economy's great." Perhaps because of a focus on the prioritizations of older Americans, which I always say is such a mistake, given the massive amount of money our entitlement system spends already on older Americans. They get their form of welfare at a time when everything is getting more expensive. Not literally everything. I don't want to romanticize the past. We made achievements in many ways for it to be easier to live now, but not everything's gotten better at all the time. And there's some real issues that Democrats are at least paying, I think, more lip service to right now, which goes to show their favorable result.
Yeah, I'm also curious on the Chuck Schumer question of how much his unfavorability has been impacted by, or will be impacted by, well, he's very unfavorable. What I mean to say is that Nancy Pelosi is not running for re-election.
Right.
She's going to retire. Was she a key figure of the Democratic Party that was protecting Chuck Schumer? And would she have potentially been able to stave off a primary challenger even if Schumer were unpopular? And now that he doesn't have this Pelosi shield, is he basically DOA? Does he decide to retire too?
That's a great question. We shall see. More free media right after this.